This is it, people. This is what you've been waiting for. This is Everyday Celebrity Podcast. The podcast for everyday people with everyday problems, trying to find everyday solutions to accomplish everyday goals. Let's start the show. Welcome to another episode of Everyday Celebrity Podcast, the number one podcast in Oakland, number one podcast in the Bay Area. And today we have a special guest. I flew across the country to speak to this woman, Sommer Hill. Summer? Okay. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. So I wanted to talk to you, right? Because, you're a woman in the space that I'm trying to get into and talk about your life and everything in between. So are you originally from DC?
I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri, but I moved around a lot.
Why'd you move around?
My
Military?
dad's job. No, he worked for Chrysler, so automotive.
Okay. St. Louis, how was that like?
It was good. It was really all I knew, so I didn't really have much to compare it to until I left, and then I realized, okay, it's kind of small city, small town, but
when did you leave?
It's home. 2009, so I was 12 years old.
Okay. Is it St. Louis gets like a bad rap. Is it dangerous like everyone says it is?
It is.
Were you in a dangerous part?
I wasn't. But, every city is like that. Oakland is like that. DC is like that. Detroit, which I lived in, is like every city is like
that's
that.
true. That's true. Did you like growing up in St. Louis?
Well, I didn't really know. Like, it was just home. So I'm happy I left. But, like, when I was growing up there, yeah, of course I liked it because it was just home. Everybody, all my friends, all my family,
You the only child?
No. I got a brother and a sister.
Older?
Yes.
How's your family dynamic?
It's great. My parents are at my house right now, waiting on me to get back and bring them some dinner. My sister has a daughter, so I have a niece, and then my brother has twin boys, so I have two new nephews, and we're all very close. We together, holidays, all of that.
You have kids?
No.
You said you don't want kids?
I want kids, but I always get offended when people ask that because it's like, does it look like I have kids?
Does Kylie Jenner look like she has kids?
Who?
Kylie Jenner.
I don't really know what she looks like, but she has the money to get that work done. So,
I know a few women who don't have money who look like they don't have kids.
Okay.
But do?
Yeah, no, I don't have no kids.
Okay. So when you left St. Louis, where did you go?
Toronto.
Oh, that's a big change.
It was huge. Culture shock.
White people?
Everything. Asian, Indian, Taiwanese, things I had never heard of before in St. Louis. Everything.
Did you go because your dad's job?
Yes.
So your dad was what was he doing for Chrysler?
He was the head of the plant. So the St. Louis plant closed down. So he relocated us to Toronto to run the Toronto plant.
How did you feel about moving around all the time?
I hated it. I was really sad. I was upset. I missed my family. I missed my friends. I missed home. I didn't really like Toronto because everything was different. Everything was changed. I didn't really know. I didn't really understand that people outside of America don't like Americans. So everything American about me was heavily scrutinized. And then my parents put me in this all girls private Catholic school, and I hated it. But now that I'm older, I'm happy I moved around a lot.
Moving around, right? Did it affect? It could affect if a kid goes through divorce with their parents, right? And it could affect them when they get older. Now, when you were moving around, do you have how can I say this? Is it hard for you to like start relationships because like
No.
shit's
It
gonna
actually
change?
does the opposite. Like I'm really good at building relationships and maintaining them because I've learned how to maintain relationships in different cities and long distance relationships. So I'm really good at that.
Okay. So after Toronto, where did you go?
Detroit.
Okay. And how was that?
I Detroit culture looking back was cool, but when I was there, they gave me a tough time. Detroit gave me a tough time.
Is this
but
the whole like, I was teased because I was pretty and light skinned?
pretty much. The new girl, came from Canada.
You getting a lot of fights?
No, actually, but there was a lot of threats. I came there from Canada in 11th grade. So everybody had already established their friend group and, already, had been in Detroit their whole life, had been in that school system their whole life. So I just plopped in, new, cute, pretty girl who's not from here. Yeah, it was interesting.
So I'm assuming Detroit wasn't like your favorite.
Well, I like the city because I like the culture of the city. But yeah, they gave me some issues in high school. And I didn't like the weather, but it wasn't that different from Toronto. So,
what type of girl were you in high school?
What kind of girl was I?
Yeah, I mean, were you like a jock or like a nerd?
No, I wasn't a nerd, wasn't a jock, wasn't like one of them athletes, wasn't a cheerleader. I wasn't like a nerd, like into my books. I was just there. I just always like created my own path. I was the cool girl, the pretty girl. I like to go out and do stuff with my friends, and I used to kind of be a little bad. Like we would go out, stay out late, be in the west side of Detroit where we had no business being.
Yeah.
I'm getting my car keyed and people stealing the tires off my car. Like, just doing stuff we didn't, high school stuff.
Yeah, typical high school shit. Did you finish high school in Detroit?
I did.
And then you went to Howard, yes?
Correct.
Now, Howard, why did you choose to go to a black school?
Well, Howard kind of chose me because when I was in high school, I wasn't too much focused on like college like I should have been. Like I said, my head wasn't heavily in the books. So I had a group of friends and one of them attended this church and the church was doing a black college tour. So she was like, oh my gosh, we should go. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I signed up to go on the black college tour. She ended up not even signing up. So I went on alone and I actually made a really good friend there named Aria. We're still good friends to this day. But Howard was our first stop. And I was like, okay, I'll apply. And that was really the only school I applied to. And I got in.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I got in because my grades were not amazing. I think it was my like letter, my admissions letter.
So you didn't have no desire to go anywhere else?
Well, for some reason, like DePaul and Chicago was on my mind, and so was Michigan State, just because I was there.
Yeah.
But that wasn't like, oh my God, I gotta go there. It's like, if I gotta go to school, I'll go here.
So I interviewed this one chick, right? And we were talking about like black colleges, and she was like, she doesn't feel that black people should go to black colleges.
Did she go to one?
No, she didn't. She had the opportunity to go.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people who don't go say because you haven't experienced it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying because she was like, well, and I asked her what was the reasoning, and she was like, well, because I'm a black person, I don't need to. Basically, she was saying people go to black colleges because they want to get into they were growing up, they weren't in the culture, so they want to get the culture.
No.
By going to like a black college, because if you're black, you don't need to fucking go to a black. You're black.
What's
you
wrong
are the
with
black
wanting
school.
to be in your culture, like with wanting to go to school with people who look like you, like some people their whole life grow up around just white people, or some people their whole life are in institutions like your doctor's white, your grocery store person is white, like everywhere you go they're white. At Howard, everywhere you go they're black, and so it just is really to me an honorable experience to experience all black all the time, because every day you're going to deal with different microaggressions, racism, sexism. But at Howard, you're not dealing with racism. You may deal with sexism, but like at least you got one off your back.
Mm. Your parents are you're biracial, yes?
No,
I'm
Black.
Okay. So you grew up. You didn't grow up like sheltered, like away from.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So
I was probably the opposite of sheltered.
What was Howard like?
Oh my gosh, Howard was the best experience of my life. Like I met so many cool people. I met so many people that have advanced my career, that I have had good relationships with, friendships and relationships. I was so well connected and have been able to experience so much more of life because of Howard. Like anywhere I go, there's someone Howard, and like my manager who's here today, Kendall Wharton, she went to Howard. So it's just the network that you get from Howard is incredible. It was so much fun. It's in a cool city like DC, so we got to explore DC as college students. It's the Mecca. Like it just feels good, and there's so much history that was there before you. And the people that you went to school with, like I have people that are making history right now that I went to school with. So it's just cool to see, you know?
What years were you at Howard?
2015 to 2019.
And you studied what?
Journalism.
What made you choose that?
Well, I originally went in studying psychology, but I was like, yeah, I don't want to have to get my doctorate. And I was, I want to make money. So, and then I was like, well, what do I like and what am I good at? And I was like, I'm good at communicating and that's what I like. So I switched to journalism, broadcast journalism. And I just like it. I'm good at it. It's fun. It's, for me, it's allowed me to like monetize my passion.
Were you in any sororities?
No, I was not. But I joined a social organization called LOQ, Ladies of the Quad.
Mm. What do they do?
It's just like it's a freshman organization to help you like get acclimated to the campus. So you come in with like, on my chapter, there was like 32 other women, and it's sisterhood, scholarship, and service. But I just met like Kendall again. She's in LOQ with me. So I just met so many women who I'm still close. Like we still have a group chat to this day, and that was in 2016.
What are some bad things about Howard?
I would say like administration. Obviously, I mean not obviously, but it is not completely organized. So you have your issues within admin that made it kind of difficult for some people, especially if you're like on financial aid and things like that. Yeah.
So when you finished Howard, you said you chose journalism, and you said you're good at communication. What makes you think you are good at communication?
Just the conversations I have with people, like the way I'm able to tailor a conversation and like create a flow in a conversation and make people feel comfortable. And I know this because of like the stories that people have shared with me. Like I love it when people on my podcast say like, okay, I've never told anyone this, but I'm gonna tell you. And it's just like, wow, I feel so honored that you feel comfortable to share this story with me.
Do you have any stories?
Sure.
That you haven't shared?
Sure. You'd have to prompt me though. I don't know. I can't just think of them.
Well, we'll get to that. So after Howard, you graduated and you have a like summertime production, correct? When did that come about?
That just came in June of 2023.
What made you start that?
So I wanted to start my own show, my own podcast. And I have a mentor named Christine Mons who works for BT. And she was like, you need to have an LLC so that you can get paid. So then I started Summertime Productions, which is the LLC. And then within Summertime Productions, I have It's Summertime, which is my show. And then I model, I do speaking engagements and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Why'd you want to start a podcast?
I just always wanted my own show. Like my whole life, I've always wanted to have my own show. And so like when I was in college, I was like, I'm going to start it now. I just kept saying, I'm going to start it now. I'm going to start it now. And finally, like 2023, I was like, you know what? I can't, like people don't take me seriously anymore when I say I want my own show. So I just had to do it. So that
why a podcast specifically?
Well, to me, I call it a show, but like in today's time, they call it a podcast. But I've just always like admired the Oprah show, and I've always appreciated like the education plus the entertainment plus the fulfillment that you got from watching that show, and that's something I've always wanted to provide as well.
What type of people do you normally interview?
So far, it's been entrepreneurs, creators, artists. But I'd like that too. I'm open. Like if you have a good story and something to talk about, then we can work.
When you do you think you're a good interviewer?
I do think so.
When you interview people, right? What is there some things that you don't like?
That I don't like that I do or that they do?
That they do.
Oh, I don't like when people ramble. That's so annoying to me. Like I'm like, please be concise. A lot of people use like, and I know I do too, like filler words, but they'll say like, sometimes you'll listen to an episode and you'll just hear someone constantly saying, you know what I'm saying? 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 It's like, okay, we know what you're saying. Some people fidget, like they'll be rocking the whole episode. So I'll like put my foot on their chair so they'll stop rocking. But it's not, I dislike it. It's just things that I think about when I'm interviewing people.
Do you have a worst interview?
A worst interview?
Like who did you interview that was like horrible?
I haven't had a horrible interview. I've had some interviews that were controversial and I'm like, you're going to get me canceled when I post this. But no one has been. I don't interview horrible people.
Are you scared of getting canceled? Like if you had an interview, right, and someone said something that was crazy, would you still put it out?
Yeah, because I didn't say it. That's their thoughts and opinions. And honestly, like, unfortunately, it's clickbait. Somebody probably agrees with you. And if they don't, then they'll disagree. Like I said something the other day that people were pissed off about, and they're like going in my TikTok still to this day.
What'd you say?
I said Air Force Ones are St. Louis shoes, and people are dragging me up and down, up and down, up and down TikTok.
That's controversial?
To somebody, I guess to the sneaker community.
Okay. So we're in DC, and obviously politics and all this. Are you political?
Am I political?
Like, are you into like politics?
I'm definitely informed. Yes. I definitely care about the politics that are happening. Yes.
What's your views on the two candidates?
Well, Kamala went to Howard. She embodies a Howard woman. So I appreciate that.
Stories about, have you heard stories about her college years?
Not too much. No.
Okay.
Nothing notable. And
did you hear what Judge Joe Brown said about her?
No. What did he say?
It was crazy. Basically that she like fucked her way up to the top or something.
You know, if they're always gonna say that about women. It's what comes with it. Successful women, you got to get there somehow or another, right? We have to do something.
Are you a feminist?
I wouldn't call myself a feminist. I'd call myself a womanist, but I do, yes.
Okay. What do you say about people who say Black women should not be feminists?
That's why I call myself a womanist, because I feel like the feminism movement has been highly revolved around white women. And womanism is more so about women, period. Obviously advocating for Black women always. But yes, I believe in the empowerment of women.
Yeah. Yeah, because I agree with that statement too. I don't think I think the white society brought feminism to Black women, and then basically because they needed a way to turn, basically like to separate like Black women and Black men, telling them like, oh, you don't need a man and all this other stuff. So I do think when Black women say I'm a feminist, they need to, we're not telling them what they need to do, but I think they should like.
Oh, I think it's just about the sentiment versus like the semantics. Like basically what they're saying is, I believe in women empowerment. It's just about knowing your history of like where that particular word came from. I read a Bell Hooks book about feminism, actually, that was really informative. So maybe suggest them to read that book.
And what did you take from that book?
Pretty much what you just said. It wasn't so much about like separating Black women and Black men, but more so how white women needed Black women to be on their side. So they started the movement.
Mm-hmm. So the podcast game, I listen to a lot of podcasts, right? And when there's a lot of like dating podcasts, like the whole alpha male, like men trying to tell men how to date and what to do. And then you have women podcasts who just shit on men constantly. What podcasts do you listen to?
Honestly, I'm not a big podcaster. Like, I don't really listen to podcasts like that. I do like watching certain, it's just weird because when I think podcast, I think audio. But when I think like video, I think show. But I guess they are podcasts. But like I do like to watch certain podcasts on YouTube. But I'm not like, oh, I got to tune in every week to this episode. Like I just turn something on if it looks entertaining. So I'm not a big podcaster. But most of the podcasts I do listen to are like either self-empowerment or like I'm learning something, or they're like entertainment. Like I'll watch, an episode of Club Shay Shay or The Breakfast Club, stuff like that.
Do you have any like people that you try to tailor your yourself to?
No, like everyone has always asked me like, what's your niche? Like, but I just feel like that puts me in a box I don't care to be. So no, I don't really tailor myself to any particular direction. I don't know if that helps or hurts me, but I just create what I would want to watch and listen to and see and what I'm curious about. And if somebody else is also interested, great. Love that. If somebody else can take something from it, great.
What job did you have coming out of college?
So I've had several. So I worked at BT. I was a associate producer and a production assistant. I worked at NBC. I was in the NBCU page program. I worked at CBS. I was an associate production coordinator. And I'm currently at NPR.
Oh, you work at NPR now?
Correct.
Okay. What do you do for them?
Their social media.
Why were you bouncing around all those jobs?
So BT, I started when I was still in school. And then I actually got an offer from them, but NBC gave me the offer for the page program. So I took that. And that program was only 18 months. So at the end of that program, I got a job with CBS. And I only took that in the meantime until I could get a job that I was actually interested in a company that I wanted to stay at. So then I got NPR. And I've been there since. Where was
BET at?
You said where? In New York.
New York? Okay. Did you like living in New York?
No.
No? Too fast for you? Okay. All of these opportunities, did you get them through like networking?
BT, yes. I got that through a Howard alum. NBC, no. CBS, yes. NPR, no. But actually NPR, the lady that hired me, Anais Laurent, she went to Howard and pulled my resume because the position I took is the one she created. But she didn't know who I was. I didn't know who she was, but she saw Howard and then she went through my resume, was impressed. And then she saw I had a website and liked it. So she sent my resume up to the hiring manager. And yeah. So I would say somewhat.
When did you get a manager?
When did I get a manager? Oh, Kendall?
Yeah.
Oh, this is new. This is 2024.
What made you feel like you needed a manager?
Because I am, on a team of just me. I do everything by myself and I needed help. And she's also an attorney. And so I was like, well, let me get someone who knows what they're doing, knows the law, like studies very well and is well connected. So she helps me a lot with like contracts and things like that.
Do you feel like when you get interviewed, you stay like politically correct when you answer questions?
No, but I do consider my audience when I'm answering questions.
Your so you say you're a team of one, right? And everyone says like you need help to like take the next step. So you have a manager. Are you looking to like hire new people?
Yeah, I'd love to like have a production assistant. I'd love to have an office assistant. Like ideally, Summertime Productions will expand and I can have an entire team working with me. That's the goal.
What do you want to expand Summertime to?
I want Summertime to be like, when you think of, I need a moderator for this event, I need a host for this event. Ooh, I really want to be on this show. Like I want my show, Summertime, to be the first thing that pops into your head. So I want it to be more of like a household company name.
Okay. So you say you don't watch podcasts. Do you feel like you need to like watch podcasts to like study the craft?
Definitely. There are people I study. I study Oprah. I study David Letterman. I used to really like David Letterman. He's a really good question asker. I study like the art of asking questions. I study the art of like body language, the art of like conversation. So yes, I definitely pay attention to that.
Those are like the highest of the highest.
Yeah. I'm not going to study someone who's not the highest of the high because I don't want to be anything but.
What do you like about Oprah so much?
I think Oprah, first of all, she's just getting her start on accident. Like, she was a reporter. She cried. They weren't happy that she cried. They fired her. Someone picked her up and was like, hey, here's your show. So to begin, she was just very
That's
raw.
how it happened?
Yeah.
That's literally how it happened?
That's how it happened.
She was crying. Someone felt
she was
sorry
a
for
reporter
her and gave her a show.
And as a reporter, you can't really show like as a journalist, you're not supposed to be biased. You're not supposed to show emotion. So yeah, she cried and they fired her and somebody picked her up and gave her a show and it blew up. And I like her because she's open. She shows both sides. Like, she has episodes where it's about, why are you a Republican? You know what I'm saying? Why is there racism? She's asking white people that. So I just like how open she was with her platform. Like, it wasn't like, I just want to lean this way, I want to lean that way. It was like, no. Let's all come here and have conversation. And it was just so vulnerable. I think it was really helpful to see as a child growing up watching that, like seeing grown men cry because of this, or grown women break down because, like, it was just really helpful.
When was the last time you cried?
I'm not really a crier. I wish I was. Let me see.
Okay.
I think I cried like a couple months ago. I know I cried a couple months ago, but I can't remember why.
Okay. That's good that you're not a crier.
I don't think it's good. I wish I cried more often.
Why?
Because it's like a release. But honestly, it just gives me a headache and like makes my eyes swollen. So I don't really like it.
So you went to Howard, and what do you think about cancel culture?
Cancel culture? I think it's a bit extreme. Like,
do you think Diddy, one of your college, Diddy went to Howard, right?
Right.
What do you think about him getting canceled? Do you think he should?
Well, yeah, he deserves to be canceled. You're abusing people. You deserve to be canceled. But like, people being canceled for accidentally slipping up and saying something, or not being informed and saying something, no, like, that's a bit extreme.
Do you think, because the whole Cassie thing, right? No one believed it at first because it was settled so fast, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's a money grab." Do you believe that people should automatically just believe women off the top without no proof?
Oh, well, we must have different timelines, because everybody on my timeline believed it. They're like, oh, he did that. Like, he paid it off. He wanted to put this under the rug quick. He did that. So, do I believe that people should believe women automatically? I think that you should assess the situation and determine based off that assessment. It's hard to say like, yes, you have to always believe women, but it's hard to say no, because there's not always proof.
Did you initially believe when Cassie first said it?
Yeah, I did. I'm the type of person, I typically always believe black women when it comes to assault. Yes.
So if Cassie was white, you wouldn't believe her?
I don't know. She's not white, so I can't say.
Well, if a white woman said something, you wouldn't believe her?
It depends on the situation. I would assess the situation and then determine based off my assessment. But I did believe Cassie when she said it the first time.
So you said assess the situation. What? I mean, I don't know if you know. Did you know Diddy personally?
No. Okay. I would just look at the information presented and then determine based off that.
So you said you believe he should be canceled. Do you believe a person can't make mistakes and then come back and, I don't know, be remorseful of the shit that he did and
of course
change?
Yeah, but not something that egregious. Like, you were abusing that woman.
So you think everything should be taken away from him for good and forever?
Well, I'm not the determining factor, but I do believe he should be canceled. I wouldn't work with him. I wouldn't send him no money to do no work. I won't be listening to his music anymore.
That's crazy. I say that's crazy because, I mean, obviously what he did was bad, yes, but I don't believe, because people want to hold like black men especially to the fire and hold them down when they support other things. Like Woody, what's that dude's name? Woody, his name is Woody Allen. You know who that is?
I'm familiar, but like, I can't cancel him because I don't listen to him. I don't watch him. I don't,
Yeah.
That has no significance. He has no significance.
I mean,
no
one person has the power to cancel anyone.
Right.
But I'm just saying that's what people are saying. But back to Woody Allen, he is a white man, right? And he's like very, very, very famous in like for making movies. And he's a New Yorker. He's like one of those predominant, like, there's New Yorkers who are like have like real cachet, like Trump and shit like that. So he was accused of sexually abusing his daughter. And it wasn't his daughter, it was like his stepdaughter or something. And she was like 5, 6. And then they had all this proof and they went to court, and the wife, I think she settled out of court or dropped it because this guy was so powerful. And they made I found out about it because they made a whole like documentary about it. And then Woody Allen, the same guy who was abusing his daughter, he marries, they had adopted children. And when the child grew up, he married her.
Yeah, that's sick.
And they got it's sick.
He's clearly a sick man.
But he never went to jail. He still walks around New York. He's still like a big deal in New York. People never canceled him. He still.
And when was this?
This was recently. The documentary's on. It came into light more because they did a documentary on it, and it was on HBO. It's still on HBO. You should watch it, but I can't remember the name of it. But it's on HBO, and it's fucking crazy. The story that he married his adopted daughter. He basically groomed her, and then when she got of age, they got married and shit. And he had like the wife found naked pictures of the daughter at his house when she was young and shit like that. It's a crazy story. But the point is, like, he did that. He's not canceled. And then you can name like other people, a whole bunch of other people who did crazy shit who are not canceled. Like all these European fucking clothes, they do racist shit. Like I think Balenciaga, how they did the blackface. You remember that?
Gucci, right?
It was one of those, but people are still like black people still standing in line trying to wear the shit. So they forgive all of those white people, but then like when a black person does something, and not to say that what Diddy did was good or bad. I mean, it was bad, obviously. But I mean, to take all of his businesses, take all of his money away, like it's crazy that this guy can't like say sorry and get his life back. Like
yeah,
he lost a whole bunch. He had to sell his own fucking company. Which is crazy to me.
I mean, first of all, I hope you don't ever think Diddy would be broke ever. Diddy will never be broke.
But
and on top of that, like, you're talking about a corporation versus a person. Like, if you could single out the person in Gucci who decided to do that, and then everybody chose to cancel them, huh?
He still works there.
I'm sure he does, but it's a person versus a corporation, and then you're talking about something that's like subjectively racist, specifically in America, versus a man who came out with a video of him beating a woman. Like, there's a difference. Like, we got to compare apples to apples.
Do you listen to Chris Brown?
No, I do not.
You think Chris Brown should still have a career after what he did?
I personally don't.
No? Okay.
That's just me, though. I know a lot of people drag me every time I say stuff like that, but it's just how I feel.
Have you ever been in a abusive relationship?
No.
No?
Not physically, no.
Mentally?
I mean, I would say maybe verbally or like emotionally, which I guess could be mental, but
How long did you stay with that person?
like 2 years.
Why did you stay?
Honestly, I guess it just boiled down to like comfort and familiarity.
After you left, I mean, was there something that was like, okay, this is
No, it wasn't like a huge blow up event. It was just like after like consistent, because I grew up with, my parents have been married 30 something years, so I know what strong and intentional love looks like. So it wasn't a lack of knowing. It was just like after like a build up, I'm like you have hope and you see the potential in that person. You think they're going to change. And then after 2 years, it's like, okay, you're not. So
when you see your parents, do you think they're in love still? Or do you think they're just, I mean, we've been here for 30 something years. Because marriage is a business. Like if you get divorced, I feel like it's going to be more frustrating getting divorced than like staying together.
They definitely still love each other, and they definitely have built their lives together. So like if they separated for whatever reason, they wouldn't know how to do anything. Like they do everything together. Like my dad be like, what we doing? What we eating? Like it's we. They have the same taste buds. Like, it wouldn't, yeah.
So you believe in the idea of marriage?
I do.
And you want to be married soon?
I do.
And you saying you do, obviously you think one person can be with one person the rest of their life?
I do.
So you don't think your dad ever cheated?
Not since they've been married.
Have you ever asked him?
Yep.
He said no?
Correct. He said not since I've been married.
Has your mom ever cheated?
Nope.
You ever asked her?
Yeah.
If they did, do you think they would tell you the truth? Okay.
I do think so. We have very open conversations in relationships, so we talk about everything.
You ever cheated on a partner?
I have not.
I'm assuming someone cheated on you before, yeah?
Has.
Is that hard to... When someone cheats on you, and I don't know how many times it's ever happened, but is it hard for you to... Is it just the idea of someone being with someone else? Or do you think... Can a guy tell you like, hey, it was like a one-time thing?
No. I think it's a character flaw.
Doesn't mean anything?
Because to me, what's important is loyalty. Like that's a value that I look for in someone. Are you loyal to your family? Are you loyal to your friends? Are you loyal to your partner? And if you're missing that loyalty, I don't want to be with you, because for me, loyalty is I'm extremely loyal to my people. Extremely. And I don't play with disloyalty.
How is the dating scene in DC?
I was pretty bad.
What makes it
Well,
bad?
you know what? Like, I'll just say I haven't had a good experience dating in DC because, yeah, I'm pretty picky. Rightfully so.
Do you want to explain, like, do you have like a list? Are you one of those girls like, oh, you need to have this?
I don't have a list, but like for me, okay, I do. It's emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, financial. I look at those 5 things. We obviously have to have an emotional connection, some compatibility. There obviously has to be a physical connection. I have to be attracted to you, and I want you to be attracted to me. Spiritual connection. So like, does this connection transcend like our human bodies? Like, are we essentially compatible? And are we equally yoked? There has to be emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, and then financial. Like, can we sustain a relationship based off our finances?
Do you have all those things?
It's not like, do you have them? It's just like, at what level are they for a person? So, yeah, it's a spectrum.
Basically, what I'm asking is, some women like say, "Oh, I want a man who makes like 6 figures or more or whatever," but they only make 60,000 a year.
No, I don't put a number on it. I just say,
but
like,
you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I don't put a number on it. I mean, I make.
Well, I'm not just talking about money. I'm just talking about.
Oh, do I have what I am asking for?
Exactly.
Yes, I do. Because I ask for emotional intelligence. I have that. Obviously, always can grow. I ask for mental stimulation. I have that. Always can grow. I think I look good and I work out. I will continue to do that. Spiritually, continue to grow and learn myself more and create a greater connection with the source. And then financial, I make money. Of course, I always want to make more, but I'm not broke.
You're religious?
No.
Okay. Just spiritual?
Yes.
What's the difference between?
For me, religion is more organized. Like, we pray before we do this. We go to church every Sunday. We read this book. And then spirituality is just the connection that you have. And I have and I'm pretty intuitive. So I have a strong connection.
So you say dating is bad in DC. Is this just you don't think that men out here have
I haven't
all of those? Huh?
I haven't met them. I mean, there could be, but I haven't met them. But I also don't go out. Like, I'm not the type of person that's going out. So maybe I'm just not meeting them. But yeah.
Are you one of those girls who want to date? Well, not just want to, but like try to date like celebrities and shit like that?
Oh no, I've never tried or dated a celebrity. That's not my goal. I try to date someone who hits those 5 factors I just explained to you.
Do you I mean, you interview a lot of men, right? And obviously you're attractive. So do you find that the opportunities that you get, or do you think that you get a lot of opportunities because of the way you look?
People have asked me this my whole life. Like, how does pretty privilege contribute to like where I'm at in life?
Yes.
And I won't deny and say it has probably benefited me. It has benefited me throughout life. However, that's not the catalyst. Like, I work very hard. Now, I will say men probably do want to come on my show because they, are physically attracted to me. But they're not doing me no favors by coming on there. You know what I mean? I haven't. Most of the men that have come on there are like people I know. Like, they're in my network. So they come on there because they want to talk and share their stories. But yeah, I'm sure being physically attractive contributes to them wanting to talk. Has
there ever been a situation where guests tried to like get with you?
No. I mean, they have flirted or like, try to go out on a date or something, but they have pretty much respected the boundary.
And how do you feel when situations like that happen?
I mean, it's annoying because like, I'd rather people just be upfront. Like, if you want to just take me on a date, just tell me. Like, you don't got to come on a show to do that. Like, just ask me on a date. And if I want to go, I'll go. But like, to do it to make it seem like a business opportunity or something, I don't like that. Like, I like when people are clear with their intentions.
How long have you been doing your podcast?
A year in June. So a little bit over a year.
Do a lot of people get you like the roles reversed? Or like, do you go on a lot of podcasts?
I haven't been on a lot. I've been on a few. I would say maybe like 5 this year. I go on a lot of panels.
Yeah, I seen that.
Mm-hmm.
You like doing that?
I do like doing that.
Why?
Because it's like, it's kind of funny to me that they consider me like a
Like an expert or some shit?
Yeah. It's like, when did I get here? I feel honored that they invite me and include me on the conversation, and it's just more exposure essentially. So I pretty much always say yes if it's advantageous or a topic that I'm interested in.
Do you remember the first panel you ever did?
I don't, because I was in school. I was at Howard at the time, so I really don't remember.
What are some things that you like won't do?
Won't do? As far as what?
Well, you say you model, yes?
Yeah.
Would you ever do nude modeling?
I would do like is if I could cover, yeah, I would. If I had something to cover me, I would.
Would you ever interview like a controversial like guest?
Yeah,
I'm talking about like, would you like the head of the KKK? Would you interview him?
I would. That sounds interesting to me. I'd love to pick their brain.
Are you a fan of history?
Yes, not a fan, but I it's interesting and I study it.
What part of history are you most intrigued by?
The 90s,
The 90s.
the Black Panther Party movement time, that era in the 60s.
Okay. If you were in the 60s, right, do you think you'll be
Do I think I'd be
a
what?
revolutionary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I would yes. I would have been best friends with Malcolm X.
Oh yeah?
Yes. Would have been best friends. Well, I still want to be best friends with Angela Davis.
Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, which one would you have followed?
Malcolm.
Why?
Because I think Martin Luther King took a very Christian approach to it, very turn the other cheek approach. And I think Malcolm was more of a stand your ground and by any means necessary and don't tolerate anything.
Well, you know, when Martin Luther King first started, he wasn't like that, right?
Yeah, and also
he was on the shit with Malcolm X, but they told him like, we can't have two of you niggas talking this way.
I mean, and also Martin was still very revolutionary for that time. Like, even though he was Christian and a pastor, like there weren't many Black men willing to stand up and lead an entire organization like that. So that was still radical for that time. And I think now, because it's so common, we don't consider it radical for that time, but it is.
Do you think Martin Luther King deserves a pass because he cheated on his wife?
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't like that part. I don't like that part. They keep that out the history books. I mean, I understand why it's not relevant to the history, but as I got older and I learned that, I was like, oh, I don't like that.
So you would cancel?
I wouldn't cancel him, but I mean, everyone is human and makes human mistakes. I wouldn't cancel him.
But he's not loyal. Martin Luther King, that's an unloyal.
That's unloyal.
So you wouldn't fuck with Martin Luther King because
I don't like cut you off as a human being because you cheated. Like, I'm just like, okay, noted. Like, it's in the back of my head. I see what kind of person you are. I probably just don't trust you.
Okay. What other people do you like in history's past? Do you admire
from history?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we say Angela Davis, Nikki Giovanni. I really, really like James Baldwin, Bell Hooks, Coretta. She's obviously not talked about enough. Betty Shabazz. What's my journalist name? Yeah. I try to like obviously think about the women. Tupac. He's heavy on my heart.
Okay.
Muhammad
Why
Ali.
Tupac?
You know what? When I got like, how old was I? I was in high school. When I first I watched some document. I had a book by Tupac. I read the book, then I go on like rabbit holes and then like watch some documentaries on him, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're just alike. Like I very much saw myself in him.
You and Tupac?
Yes. Very much saw myself in him. So it was kind of it just felt like a kind of like a mirror, like, and so I really liked him. I really used to love Tupac.
Okay. So are you really big in music?
Yes.
Is that why like most of your people are like artists, like music artists you talk to?
I think that I just really like talking to artists because I like the way I like hearing how their mind works. So it's not necessarily like because I love their music. It's because I like artists.
Name an artist that you like
Right now?
Like who are you listening to?
Okay. On the way here, I was listening to Jill Scott, Lil Wayne, Michael Jackson, Brent Faiyaz.
That's another person.
Who, Michael Jackson?
That well, you know, that's not canceled, but should be.
Yeah. So that's one of them situations where I would assess the facts. Assess
people
the
pick and choose.
given.
That's what I was. People want to pick and choose.
Yeah.
Like, you know
we
what I'm
do.
saying?
We're human. We, want, and some people want to separate the art from the artist, and some people we don't want to.
Yeah.
I think he's an artistic genius. Brilliant.
Yeah, R. Kelly's a genius. I still listen to his
R. Kelly is a genius. I stopped listening to him though.
You said you're not?
I stopped, yeah.
Step in the Name of Love, come on right now. You ain't gonna tap your feet or nothing.
I may accidentally nod a little, I may accidentally tap my foot a little, but when you listen to some of his songs now, it's like, dang, it's hard to not think you're talking about a little girl. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, times were changed back then. Like, that dude, Billy, the white dude? Great Balls of Fire. You know that song?
Who you talking about? Elvis?
No, not Elvis.
He was also a creep.
What is that dude's name? He says, goodness gracious, great balls of fire.
I know which song you're talking about, but I don't know.
Yeah, he married a 14-year-old.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah,
I don't care what times are like. That's weird.
Back then.
No. R. Kelly's not that old.
Well, yeah, duh. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's weird.
So you start summertime productions. You start this, and did you have to, like, what hurdles?
Oh my God, it's a new hurdle every day because I really, I don't know how to start a business or run a business, but I'm figuring it out because I'm doing it. LLC, figuring out, I had to get a, what's it called? Trademark.
Yeah.
Business accounts, bank account, doing all of that. I didn't know how to do any of that, but I'm figuring it out. And then it's now how do I monetize? How do I get brand deals and brand partnerships? So every day is a new challenge, but actually it's kind of fun to me because, I'm sitting here thinking about how to do this for all these companies, but now I get to sit here and think about how to do it for myself. So.
Yeah. Because I'm going through the same shit, right? I did all the the paperwork, all the legal shit before I even started my podcast because I wanted all that shit taken care of. So when something happens to where I do get money, all this shit was already taken care of, the logos, the LLCs. So I don't have to worry. If you start popping and if you don't have all that shit, it'll be crazy.
Exactly. Do it on the front end.
Yeah, and the hard part to me is basically doing everything, like you said, doing everything yourself, because you can't expect other people to be to think of your dream like you think of your dream.
Yeah, some people don't see the vision.
Yeah, it's like Airbnbs. You can't expect the guests
To treat
your
it like
couch
it's, yeah.
like it's their couch.
Yes,
like
agreed.
You know what I'm saying? So have you ever worked with someone who just didn't see the vision or like shitting on your stuff?
Well, not shit on it, but there are several people who I have decided in my head I can never work with you again because you just don't care for this work as much as I do. And that's fine. I can't expect you to. It's literally called Summertime. It's literally my name. So I can't expect you to care as much as I do. But I take it very seriously. And if you don't also take this work very seriously, I cannot work with you.
Did you? I mean, what do you find? Yeah, I'm sorry about that. That one fly is fucking with us.
Guido.
What do you like more or enjoy more, like modeling or like podcasting?
I like conversations. I like interviews because I'm learning something. I'm gaining something. I'm making a new connection. But I will say both of them like are draining to me. Like when I leave this, I'm going to like probably not speak for the rest of the night because it's draining. But like when I model, I feel like a piece of meat. Like if I'm modeling for someone, I feel like a piece of meat. If I'm doing a shoot on my own, like I like that. That's fun. Like it's empowering. But when I'm doing it for someone, like people just come up to you and start pulling on you and like getting your measurements and touching you. And I'll be like, excuse me, my name is Summer. Like don't just come up to me and start touching me. You don't even know my name. You know?
What's some like hard when you started podcasting, what are some like things that you realize like this shit is like hard?
Well, like I guess the hard part is like for me, like even days I'm not in the mood or I'm sick or I'm tired or my heart's broken or I'm sad and I got to come in here and turn all of that off and turn on this and focus on this.
You don't just cancel it?
I can't.
Well, what you mean you can't? Yes, you could.
Oh, cancel the podcast? No, I don't.
Like if you have an interview, if you're not in the headspace, you'll still do the interview? I still do
it, yep. Because I value time and I value people's time and my time. And if I have made a commitment, we're going to do this at this time, at this place, then I honor that commitment.
And what if it's a shitty interview because you're not in a good headspace?
And then that's my bad. And lesson learned. But I don't really try to allow like what's going on in here to affect the conversation or what I'm doing. I try to really separate myself from myself in that moment and turn on what I need to turn on for the conversation. So luckily, well, actually it has happened. I have had and like I'm like, dang, I just did not perform my best here. Like I did not do well. But I think that there were still pieces of the conversation that were like good or helpful for someone. So I still put it out.
Do you I was gonna ask. Sorry, these flies are fucking me up. When you do podcasting, like what is your like if someone was to ask you like about your podcast, what do you like, how would you describe it?
I just say I say what I want people to take from it. So I want you to feel fulfilled like when you walk away from it. And I say it's just like a place for people to share their stories, like creators, entrepreneurs, artists, to share their stories. And then we unpack those stories and really get to like the heartbeat of their journey.
Do you have a dark time in your life?
Yeah, I have several.
Let's talk about one.
Okay. Do you want to move from these bugs?
Sure.
Over there or something?
Over there?
Wherever. It's your show, so whatever background you want, but these bugs are going to distract us.
Oh, yeah. All right, so the dark part of your life.
Well, there's been a few, but I went through a breakup. The one that was really hard. That was a very, very difficult moment.
The 2-year one, the mentally.
Yep.
Okay.
That was very hard for me.
Just because it was a breakup?
No, I really thought I was gonna marry that person. So it was like grieving. I felt like I was grieving, like myself and him and the relationship and the life I thought I was gonna have. It was a hard time.
Were you guys living together?
No.
Do you feel like you went through a lot of like your life, right? From when you were a child to now. Do you feel like you went through a lot of shit?
I wouldn't say a lot, but I've definitely, experienced some trauma. Definitely have harder days, but overall, I'm very grateful for the life I've had.
What do you see yourself in like the next 5 years? What's a goal?
I would like to be a full-time entrepreneur. Like, I would like to work solely for myself within the next 5 years.
And how do you feel, or what are you doing now that you think to accomplish that?
Working. Like, I work 7 days a week. I don't work 5. I don't work 9 to 5. I work 7 days a week, 15-hour days, just trying to do what I can to put myself in the next level. Like, who can I meet? Who can I talk to? Who can I network with? What can I be doing for summertime to advance it? Like, I'm constantly thinking, like, dreaming about it. Like, I go to sleep and I dream about things I need to be doing. Like, I wake up and my jaw is so sore because I'm like clenching my teeth so bad at night because I'm thinking about what I need to be doing. I'm constantly moving. I'm restless thinking about what I need to be doing.
Do you feel like you need to quit your 9 to 5?
Not yet.
Why is that?
Because it's funding my life right now.
Well, yeah, that's I hate it when people say when they like give advice and they're like, "Oh, you need to quit your 9 to 5 and put 100% into."
Can't.
Exactly.
I got bills.
So tell the people where they can find you. Like if you want to give out your socials.
Yes.
Like
so on Instagram, it's Sommer FH. Sommer spelled with a O, SOMMER FH. On YouTube, it's Summertime. Summer is spelled the same way. You'll see my podcast there. I could be wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, Amazon. And I'm on TikTok, Sommer Hill too.
How long do you feel like you're going to be doing podcasting for?
Until I don't want to anymore. I don't know. I'm a Gemini, so like I do stuff until I'm ready to not. It'd probably be the next time something else bigger comes along.
Are you trying to like sign people to? Are you trying to like create podcasts?
Maybe one day I'll bring some more shows up under Summertime Productions, but right now the focus is mine.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for coming on Everyday Celebrity Podcast. Talking about your life, explaining everything. Very nice meeting you. All the success in the world.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you'll get it. You seem very determined, like a determined person. Yeah, everybody check out our podcast, Summertime. That's the name of it, right? Just Summertime?
It's Summertime.
Okay. It's Summertime?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for flying out here to chat today. I'm very honored.
Well, I made it a little trip, so you know what I'm saying. I mean, I feel like that's what you have to do if you want to grow. Like collaboration is a big key, and you shouldn't let like the distance deter you because you'll like if I just stayed in Oakland and just interview people in Oakland, like I would get tired of because there's way more.
Yeah,
there's a whole bunch of shit ton of people in New York and like Texas that are way more interesting.
Yeah,
than
not more.
But you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I can only do so much of like the Oakland stories.
Yeah. I do want to go to Oakland because I know that's where the Black Panther Party got started. So I'd love to explore that history there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thank you for coming and having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you. This is Everyday Celebrity Podcast, and we are out. You.